Yeah, it was good to get back out on the floor. We had about a 9-day stretch there where we didn't have a game. Obviously, in finals week here at Miami, take that very seriously. We don't have any games during finals week. Practice was kind of hit and miss a little bit this week as well due to guys' final schedules. I thought we had a really good overall week of practice, though, when we did practice. I thought our guys were energetic. You always kind of worry as a coach during this little break that guys will take the foot off the pedal, so to speak. And I thought we improved a lot this week. Obviously Bethany, they played a lot of zone. We shot a lot of threes. I thought our ball really moved. Obviously ended up with 27 assists, made 22 threes. I thought our ball moved and we took the right shots. We played really unselfish. My frustration with our team was, and this is totally on me, is second half I thought we completely played the score. And you got to be a mature team. You got to be a faceless opponent. Doesn't matter who you're playing. You got to respect the game, play the game the right way. Details matter on defense. I didn't think they were there for us. And give Bethany credit. They made a lot of shots there in the second half, but we got to be a heck of a lot better. And our defense has been trending in the right direction, since the beginning of the season. But I felt like second half it really took a step backwards, which isn't good for us. So, again, we'll move quickly on to the next game. Obviously, we got Vermont coming up on Wednesday. So we'll turn the page very quickly.
Start us off.
Not quite there yet, but you're getting toward the max schedule. How's everybody doing health-wise? I know you've been working on getting Potter, some more time and everything. But overall, How's everybody doing?
Yeah, I would say overall health is really good. We're pretty fortunate right now. Reese his minutes have definitely increased the last couple games against Air Force and Indiana. Maybe not as much today. We kind of hockey subbed it a little bit today. But Air Force and Indiana's minutes started to go back up, and I think his productivity has been on the rise as well, which is good. And we need that from Reese, leading into MAC play. He's a big part of our team. We need him to be productive. He gives you a very different look than maybe an Antoine does. Right, and I think we can play those guys together as well, which we really hadn't had an opportunity to do yet. But I think we could see that moving forward as well.
Coach Cam mentioned not being as much of a 3-point shooter, in kind of in his past. But what's kind of stood out with him in order for him to kind of be in that position here?
Yeah, Cam's a dynamic scorer. He can shoot the ball from anywhere. I give him the neon green light, and he's earned that light. You earn your role in practice, right? So we track every shot, miss, make, and every live drill. And so we call it a little shot spectrum, so I can see where his shots are coming from, what percentages, and that dictates your shot selection, right? It's not right. I always say coaches play favorites. Yeah, they play those that are going to make the shots more times than not. That's who we want shooting the ball. Cam, I think water is going to find its level. Last couple games, he hasn't shot it as well. He's one of the best shot makers in the entire country. Our guys found him today. Whether it was we had really good ball movement. Even a play, I know Peter ended up with 9 assists, but one stat that won't go on the stat sheet is a couple great screens that freed up Cam as well. All right, got him an open look. Like Peter had a great play. I just keep visualizing in the first half. Pete pinned in the defender, and I think it was Cooper skipped it out opposite, and bang, it was a 3 for Cam on that right wing. Our guys look for him. They find him. They have total confidence in Cam, so he's one of the best shot makers, obviously, in the country.
Coach, at a couple points in the game going into the media timeouts, it seemed like you had a pretty stern message for your team. What was that message that you gave them in those timeouts?
Yeah, just play the game the right way. On the defensive end. Offensively, we played the right way the whole game. I thought our ball moved. Guys were unselfish. We didn't take bad shots. Sometimes you worry about that in a score like this. Like all of a sudden, guys going self, right, trying to get their stats. We don't have that issue at all. Like, I wish Cam would have shot it more. It's like, dude, he just banged in a couple, and then he passes up a wide-open shot in the right corner. It's like, dude, what are you doing? I know what I would do if I was you. I'd be shooting that thing. But defensively, though, our details were bad. And my biggest pet peeve in life is you can't waste time. You can't waste time. And you got to fight human nature. You got to fight, hey, looking up at that scoreboard, we're up by so many points. It doesn't matter. Are we taking advantage of the opportunity to get better or not? And I don't think we did as much in the second half, especially on that defensive end. And that's where I was frustrated, with our guys. And give Bethany credit. Like I said, they made some shots, but again, a lot of them were our mishaps, unfortunately.
Luke Skaljek had the big night against IU. Brent Byers had a big day today, especially early with some shot making. How much improvement have you seen from those guys just since they've started playing college games?
Yeah, a lot. The game is very different at the collegiate level than it is at the high school level, right? And they're both very talented. And we knew that when we recruited both guys. We felt like they could both make an instant impact for us. You look at Luke, he didn't have as good of a game today, but his minutes are on the rise. I will tell you that. Like, what he brings to our team is playmaking ability, his shot making from all over the court. He's a tremendous player. And then Brant, you can start to see that confidence starting to grow in Brant. He couldn't buy one early on in the year. It was like, man, I don't know if he's like 2 or 1 for 18 from 3 at one point. He's a way better shooter than that. I mean, he's a 40+% guy in my mind, because we track it. Like I said, we track every shot in practice, and we encourage him to shoot the ball. We encourage our guys know to look for him as well. So I'm not shocked by the way he performed today. And he's doing some other things too, though. Like, he had some nice finishes. He's long. He can block a shot. He can rebound. He does something. And he moves really well, cutting. So both those guys, I think you'll continue to see. They got both very high ceilings. I think you'll see them get better throughout the season.
Over the last few games, Makai Cooper's been a guy that's been scoring less and kind of doing more of pretty much everything else.
Yep.
He had, I think, 7 assists, 5 steals today.
Yep.
Again, had a big night against Indiana with the stuff off the ball as well.
Yep.
What's been the difference there and just everything he's doing when he's not scoring?
Yeah, our team's different than it was a year ago, right? And he knows, what his strengths are. He's a tremendous defender, tremendous, and he can get paint touches. And he knows he's got all these guys out there, whether it's a Brant, whether it's an Ian, whether it's a Cam, whether it's a Pete, Luke, Evan, all those guys can shoot the heck out of the ball. So there's a ton of space out there on the floor, a ton. And then you get guys like Antoine and Jackson and Reese that can roll and put pressure on the rim, man, and it's a problem, right? He's got a lot of weapons around him. There's going to be nights where he's going to have to score, depending upon how that team guards us, right? And that's what he has to. He did it against Mercer. He scored more in that game. There's going to be games where he has to, right? So depends how they're going to guard us. But it's kind of pick your poison. And he's just playing the right way, doing what the game tells him to do.
Coach, at the end of the game there, you had a chance to get your your walk-ons onto the floor, and some of the guys that don't see the floor super often. What can you say about the impact that they have outside of the game and outside of what we see?
Yeah,
in the game
great question. I'm glad you mentioned that. Obviously, Blake Anderson, Eli, who everybody knows Eli, because Eli played as a freshman. Now he had to play in there, kind of where we were as a program stuff. He was one of sometimes our better players as when he was a freshman. But whether it's Jack Sauer, who's from Loveland, Ethan, right? I thought, it's nice to be able to reward those guys because they don't get a lot of playing time, obviously. But what they do is they prepare us to play every team that we're about to play, right? They're the scout team, so to speak. And they'll memorize the other teams, whether it's their offense, how they play defensively, personnel. They'll play like that person, right, which isn't always easy to do. Like Eli's a lefty. He's got to play like a righty. That's what I tell him when you're out there during practice. So we wouldn't be able to operate like we do on a day-to-day basis without them. They make our guys better every single day. They're great teammates. They're just great people, and they're invaluable. Words probably don't do it justice. Kind of what impact that they have on our program.
I'm not sure today or the Indiana game were good barometers, but how do you feel about your team being able to get production inside with the big guys?
We shot a lot of threes today. We shot 44. Golly, man, that's a lot. That's like NBA style, right? Nobody's watching the NBA games anymore because it's all threes and teams just chuck them up, right? That's what we did today. Indiana was big. I'll tell you that. Enormous. huge. Now, Reese had a very impactful game against Indiana because he was able to stretch their bigs out because their bigs didn't want to come out on the perimeter, right? Today, we didn't score as much inside. I thought Antoine got a few offensive rebounds. I don't know how many ended up with 3, I believe, or 5. I actually had 5 offensive rebounds. He ended up with 9 and 8. I thought he was really good on the offensive glass. We didn't get those guys a ton of touches. They played 2-3 the whole game, and we didn't really run any sets either. We just let them play in flow, and that's probably, I mean, we got to get those guys. I know this when Antoine's out there and Reese is out there, we got to get those guys touches, right? We got to get them touches, and we got to force feed it sometimes, especially versus man-to-man.
Yeah, Antoine seemed to be a little bit more offensively active down in Florida.
Yep.
I think recently, one game, I think he only had like 1 or 2 shots and that. So,
Yeah, we got to get him the ball. I think it's got to be a focal point for us. Plus, that'll get us to the free throw line, right? We got to find ways to get more paint touches. You know, whether that's rolling to the rim, whether that's cutting to the rim, driving, which we drive the ball pretty well. We got posted a little bit more as well, especially, again, when teams are in the man-to-man defense.
a lot of times in MAC games, free throw shooting spells the difference.
Yep.
How do you feel about this team's ability to maybe pick it up a little to get to the line and to finish at the line?
Yeah, we got to be better shooting the free throws. I mean, we're 8 for 13 today. I mean, I could do that right now blindfolded. We got to get there more. Now, we shot a lot of threes today. So, I mean, the game was officiated the right way. It wasn't anything on the officials. We got to put more pressure on the rim. That's how you create contact, right? Through driving, through cutting, through rolling, and through posting. You got to create the contact, and you got to get paint touches. That's where my mind kind of goes. That will lead us to get to the foul line more. And we'll make sure that happens moving forward. We can force that. And if there's possessions where it's like, man, the ball isn't touching the paint, because we do shoot it really well, but there's going to be games where we don't. How are we scoring? Right? The great teams can get to the free throw line. You know, when you talk about points per possession or analytical data, you know, the free throw is the second best shot in basketball, right? Best is a layup, second's free throw, and third's a three. We got to get more to the free throw line. That's a stat that's been on my mind a lot. And we did a good job down in Florida, to your point, but we forced that a little bit more down there to get to the free throw line, and we got to continue to do that moving forward.
Cam, seemed like you felt pretty good out there. What were you able to see out there that kind of put you and the team in a position to kind of take care of business today?
I think in our game plan, it was to get out in transition, and my teammates did a great job of finding me in transition and getting me open, and I was able to hit shots today.
I know we're kind of winding down with non-conference play, but this game, and I think you would Sacred Heart next, what are some things you guys are going to be focusing on to sort of get you guys ready for MAC play?
Definitely, I think the main emphasis moving on from this game is just we need to play better defense in the second half. Just maintaining that same energy the whole game, playing defense making that an emphasis for the whole game. I think we were a little immature today in the second half defensively, and I think moving forward we need to, grow as a team and become better defensively.
Cam, it's been a bit of a break since the last game. I think it was like a 9-day break. What's the morale like in the locker room after a win like this?
Finals wrapping up, everyone, no students around, so we're all just in the gym getting extra shots up. We've had a great week of practice, just getting extra work in, staying in the gym, and we're looking forward to Vermont.
After a couple tougher nights for you shooting-wise, how nice was it to just see a couple of those early shots fall, and obviously then you continued to shoot throughout the rest of the game?
Yeah, it felt great to see the ball go through the net. As a shooter, I'm never losing confidence. So no matter how many I miss in a row, I'm going to fire the next one up with the same confidence that I had before. To see 10 of them go through is a great feeling, and hopefully I can carry that on to the next couple of games.
Got Vermont coming up in a couple of days. I don't know if Travis Steele's ever told you the Merry Christmas story from last year before the Darwishi Hunter buzzer beater, but obviously a tough team, tough environment. So just what are some of the most important things you guys think for going on the road and trying to get a win on Wednesday?
I think we're going to give Vermont's best shot, especially after last year. I wasn't here, but I've heard a lot about that game. And we're going to their great environment there, great team, great program. So I think we're going to get their best shot, and we got to prepare the right way the next 2 days of practice. And when we get there, we need to take care of business.
Everybody knows, that you're enjoy the three and you can shoot the three. It looks to me though like you're still trying to work to develop another part of your game where you can penetrate, and is that something that is on your list for development?
Yeah, my entire playing career, I've been able to score at 3 levels. Obviously, this year I've been shooting a lot more threes than I ever have. But yeah, I think I'm looking to attack the rim more. Just be a 3-level player, be a playmaker while maintaining my 3-point ability.